live in the dungeon. This is the Dream Warrior Review. I'm Kurt Thomas.
I'm Mick Strawn.
One of my favorite childhood movies was The Dark Crystal.
Me too. Well, not childhood, but my son. I watched this with my son.
Yeah.
The original, and I think we saw it in the theater.
My dad took me too.
It blew me away.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, I remember specifically thinking that the Muppets were the TV show, The Muppets.
The Muppet Show, yeah.
This is the Muppet Show.
Yep.
Right? That was the highest art of puppet that I could imagine.
Right.
Right?
Did you like the Muppet movies too?
No, I really didn't.
See, I grew up on... Basically, Jim Henson and Frank Oz raised me, more or less.
Right, exactly.
I was obsessed with their movies, and my dad would take me to, usually it was a couple years later, or a year later, he would take me to the university that he worked at.
Right.
And they would be showing the Muppet movie... it was usually a year after it was released.
Right.
But they would be showing it, in a room on campus.
Oh, okay.
And I was like... Oh, this is amazing.
Okay.
And then when the show came on, we watched it every week together as a family.
Oh, we did, yeah. No,
so when this came out,
I did with
amazed.
my son.
Yeah.
I loved it. And when The Dark Crystal came out, I was blown away. And then I think later on came the one with Labyrinth.
Yeah, Labyrinth. Yeah. They're similar.
They're very similar.
Yeah.
Same look, same characters making them and so forth. And I think that was the highest form of the art.
Yeah.
I mean, just amazing.
Oh, the set. I mean, as a production designer.
Yeah, so the sets. But
did you notice halfway through the movie your pants were off? Was it that good?
It was that good. It was just amazing. I mean, the sets, the visualization, which seemed to come from heavy metal rock.
Oh yeah.
So, there was something about it that was just so.
Well, I mean, Steven Tyler was in this.
Really? You sure? Oh, yeah.
No, the one Gelfling.
Yeah?
Looked exactly like Steven Tyler.
It did. Well, and here's the thing. Yeah. Is that art imitating art? Art imitating life, imitating art, imitating life?
I have no idea.
I'm sure it's something like that.
One thing I was thinking, though, was that if you listen to this movie, if you just listen to it,
right.
The script is really weak. But the visuals,
I
think the script is very simple. I'm not trying to say it's weak.
But
it had a really good story, but it was just told in a simplistic way because it was targeted towards kids, I think.
Right. It was a simple story, but it was it was incredibly well told.
I remember it kind of scared me too when I first saw it the first time.
Well, it was incredibly well told. It was this visual.
Was Star Wars, kind of.
It was a visual that we really hadn't much seen before. I mean, it was amazing. But you know what? In looking back, and this is me looking, I just saw it.
Yeah.
What surprised me is how well directed it was.
Oh, God, yeah.
The directing was amazing. And I'm going to use this as a segue into the what's the new one? This is it. Age of Resistance?
Age of Resistance, yes.
Yes. It is...
Yes.
It is retreading on in some big shoes, and I don't think it makes it. I don't think the direction is as good.
It's a singular story because it's all about the Skeksis right off the bat.
Right off the bat. The two.
So you don't have the yin and yang of the good and evil.
And the yin and the yang was the
connection between the two worlds.
Right. That and sort of like
and the hero's journey. This just doesn't.
Also.
How far have you gotten into it?
Just a second.
So I only watched the first two.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm like, there's no hero journey. It's just like. We're trying to stretch this. This is a prequel, and we're just trying to stretch it out as much as we can.
Well, you know what? I'm not kidding. I think the first two episodes were day in a life.
Yeah.
I didn't see.
It was day in a life. It was like watching a reality show. Was what I felt like.
Right. It was like they were going through here's the thing. There's a certain problem of world building, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is you don't want to have 2 episodes of a series just world building. You have to start into a story.
Yeah.
And
it's better if you start right into some action or something.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. I mean, the movie didn't world build at all. It was there in full formed. I mean, you know, it just started into the story. And I just got the feeling on this one that I watched 2 episodes and I have no idea what any of it was about. And here's the other problem. It's not only did I not know what it was about, they made this amazing world kind of like we have to do it better than the movie before. Right. And therefore, they didn't do it better than the movie before. They just made it busier than the movie before.
Yeah. That's actually what I mean. I can see what you're talking about.
There was I hate production design that doesn't have a center.
Yeah.
Okay. And the thing about they're trying
to mix old and new a little bit too much, but you try to rely on computer animation in the backgrounds more.
Right.
Like the first one was amazing, and it had a lot of texture to it because it wasn't animated everywhere.
Right. And the fact that the thing is so the characters catch your focus. It's like that there was something to center your focus to, and it was already into the story.
And there's some great shots, like the Mystics, where you're shooting from above them.
Right, and they're all coming to that's great stuff. The thing is the modern one wants to give you those great shots of this world.
Yeah.
And for one thing, you've seen it already. I mean, but you saw it, and you saw it done pretty well.
Yeah. Well, there's also when there's movement, like where she was flying.
Yeah.
The background just looked really bad. I mean, because of the animation.
Yeah.
And so I know, in 1982, they would have made that look amazing, probably just because they would have had to figure it out.
Right.
How do we make this look like it's real?
See, this is what I always say. I say one of the problems that we have these days is we have everything at our fingertips.
Yes.
And the problem in having everything at your fingertips is that you tend to use it.
Yep.
and the reason that you got all that stuff was as solutions to these little tiny problems. Eventually, you get CGI, and all of a sudden, you're a solution looking for a problem.
Right.
And that's exactly what happens. It's that whole film. This whole series seems to be a solution looking for a problem.
It's also I don't think you'd really be able to be. I don't know. I think the only reason why I tolerated it was because I was into the movie.
Right, I know.
If I had no idea what this was, I'd be like, okay, I would have bailed in the first 10 minutes. Oh, it's pretty, but I don't know what the hell's going on.
It's like an artist that you really, really love.
Yeah.
This one incredible painting, then you go see the rest of his show, and it just kind of sucks. And you go, wow, the rest of his shit sucks.
Right, exactly. And the voice, I think so we're talking about Jim Henson and Frank Oz, and obviously they had a lot of talent with voices.
Right.
So I think the new voices, they're regular actors, and they're especially when you're talking about the Skeksis.
Yeah.
Because there were some amazing voices in the Dark Crystal in 1982.
Right. Yeah, I know.
And in this one, they had some voices that were kind of more normal, and even the Gelflings.
Yeah, right.
I have trouble saying what that. I have trouble pronouncing that, but they sounded kind of it's not the English accents. It's just the way they were talking was more like I'm talking right now.
You know how I love an English accent.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean. Jim Henson did the voice of the boy,
right?
The boy,
exactly.
And it just sounded different and more.
Preach it,
unique.
brother. Preach.
But then the new one, it's like, oh, where are the Skeksis? Let's go find them.
Exactly.
it's
that's exactly what was going on. I know. It was. I don't know.
There was good love and loss in this one, though.
Yeah,
the first 2 episodes.
I'm not saying that you know what? It must have cost $100.
Yeah, no, it's impressive, but I guess you have to have a story that makes sense, and then maybe some tension somewhere.
You know,
I mean, there's a little tension, but
if
not
you
really.
don't care, you don't care.
So there's no tension in this. They're just kind of standing around talking about the tension.
Right, yeah.
And then one thing happens that's kind of dramatic, but it's like, okay. Even after when he was telling somebody else that it happened, oh yeah, it happened.
You know, and the weird thing about it is they're supposed to be slaves to these other people, right?
Yeah.
And you get the same feeling as they do. It's like, we're slaves.
Right.
That's exactly what. Oh, okay. Well,
the first one was a lot better. There's a lot more tension.
Yeah. In this, it was like I was indifferent to their situation as they were.
I do have to say that Oprah was in actually the first and this one, the first movie in this series. Oprah was in it.
Yeah.
Well, her name was Okra.
It's a vegetable, you idiot.
There was one line where I know okra, yeah. But no, there was one line where I swear it sounded like she said, "Oprah knows best." And I was like, Oprah.
I
was wondering if they did it on purpose. Maybe they worked that in there. Maybe Oprah knows the producer.
Yeah, we can get two people. We can get two people as extras.
Oh, and one thing that was amazing in the movie was the way they. Well, I can obviously talk about the movie in detail more than I can about the new one, but the way they ripped out Chamberlain, when they kicked him out and they ripped his clothes off.
Right.
I was like, oh, that was heartbreaking.
Oh, right.
And it's like, I didn't even like Chamberlain, but I felt bad for the guy.
Exactly.
And the way that whole thing went down was just interesting.
It's a great story.
And then when you see his hand get cut, and then you see the mystic's hand bleeding.
Right.
I'm like, okay, it's connecting everything.
Right. And it was connected. See, the connection between the two different clans of Sketchy was amazing. I mean, that is just amazing.
And then you had the main character, and he was on a journey. So it was taking you somewhere.
Right. and that's kind of what this was. Focus.
This was
focus, people.
Yes, focus.
Focus, people.
It's like I knew a photography teacher in college. It was like, always remember to fuck us.
Fuck us.
Don't forget to fuck us.
Fuck us. Fuck us. You know, there was a restaurant down the street from us. It was called Fuck It Thai. Right. You know what? I never ate at Fuck It Thai, but I used to say it all the time.
Right. I've actually looked that up online to see like pictures of restaurants.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the name of a city somewhere, right?
Yeah,
it's in Thailand.
Yeah, it is.
I guess.
It's in Thailand. Yeah. So all over America, there's Fuck It Thai.
Is that how you pronounce it, though?
It's how I pronounce it. and you know how I learned that? I was going down the street and I said, "Hey, look, Fuck It Thai."
So I was trying to think of what I'd rate these.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm sorry, but the original Dark Crystal to me is easily a 4.5. I mean, it's a great film. I'm
gonna let my childhood emotions take over, and I'm gonna give it a 5.
Oh, well, there you go.
Because okay. I mean, if I was,
but yeah, no,
because I've gone how many years since then, and it's still amazing to me. And it's kind of like it holds up, like Blade Runner, like holds up.
Yeah, and Dark Crystal, I'm giving it a 2. I mean, this is
I mean, if I didn't have my childhood memories, I probably would give it a 4.5 or 4.2.
Yeah,
but I think I had to let it go. Whatever. But this one, would you say you'd give this one? 2? I'm probably at a 3, maybe, or 2.5. I mean, 2.5, right in the middle.
For trying, it seems like an awful lot of effort.
It was still really pretty, though.
It was.
I mean, it's still impressive, but there's parts where you get distracted by how messy, like you said, messy it is.
It's a great poster.
It's a great poster. It is. Thanks for joining us on the Dream Warrior Review podcast. Don't forget to tell your friends about us, follow us, and, of course, like us. We can be found on Podbean, which is an amazing app, YouTube, Stitcher, Alexa on any pod, iTunes, Google Play. We're on Twitter as well, at DW Review, and, of course, Facebook. You can find us there. You can also email us at dreamwarriorreview@gmail.com.